I can't trust my judgments anymore. That is a question we'll discuss in today's episode. Hi, my name is Nigel. Uh, Hi, I can't trust my judgments anymore. That is the question we're going to discuss in today's episode of Men and Mentors, the show where we take you on the road to build your comeback after your loss, after your setback, after whatever has hit you in the wrong way. My name is Nigel, and I'm your lead driver today. I was talking with Gabe some time ago, and he shared with me a very gut-wrenching experience. He worked in the construction field, and after he and his business partner worked together for 8 years, the business partner defrauded him, and he felt he was unable to trust his judgment. I found myself in a similar position years prior. You see, Gabe had worked with his business partner, Mark, and they've built up a reputation in the area. They did kitchen and baths. They were a really successful little company. And this friend of his had an addiction. He gambled a lot, and he goes out and he wastes all of the company's money. And here, Gabe was faced with a very, very difficult situation. This is the person that his kids call uncle. This is the person who was in his wedding. So he's asking me, Nigel, how do I trust people again? How do I trust myself again? And this is a common question. And often, entrepreneurs who went through a significant emotional event, they call it significant emotional event, S-E-E. Significant emotional event, all right, would ask themselves that because they started to doubt in their judgment. I went through that. I went through it for about a year straight after my entire ordeal. Very many nights I would get up in the middle of the night and I would be like, why was I so stupid? Why did I really allow this? And that judgment trap would cause Gabe, as he was explaining to me, he would go to the store and stand in the cereal aisle and just become lost. For me, it was just marinating on the thoughts. Why were you so stupid? How were you so gullible? Weren't you seeing all of the signs? And the truth is, you were judging from a wrong place. When I realized that I was taken advantage of, when I realized that we were completely defrauded, it took me 8 months. Because the person who did it concealed that side of her. I thought this was someone of good character. I thought these things, but bringing her in and giving her access, introduce her to monies she had no control over, monies she had no ability to generate herself. I was doing this for 10 years. So I was seeing money come in and go out, come in. Parents would come in. There would be parents who pay upfront $5,000 for the entire academic year. That was our annual tuition. So when you give somebody who was working $10,000, $12,000 as maximum in their entire month, they didn't have no guardrails around that because she wasn't a business owner. She didn't know that much money. I grew up with my parents exposing us very early to money. We used to sit down and help my mother and my father balance books and write budgets and write on projects. I saw my parents doing several entrepreneurial things. So I grew up where money was an open subject. We weren't rich, but we were open. So any project we did, My mother worked as a secretary. My father worked as a welder for the bauxite industry. They had sheep, they had goat, we run chickens, we did layers, we did. So I always was used to seeing that. And they always had an entrepreneurial initiative going on at any given time. That opened me to possibilities. My first venture in business was at age 15. I went out getting sponsors to sing at a fair. So my trust instinct was naive. I believed everybody who showed you this side of them had character. I just believed that. I chose the wrong set of mechanism to build my belief out of. I didn't go off of signs and systems. So I didn't see that. That blindsided me. That's why it took me for a loop. That's why it shook me so heavy. The day when I got carjacked in Baltimore and I said, okay, this has happened. At that point, I got stabbed simultaneously, learning my office was fully defrauded. So here I lost my MDX, and here I lost $70,000. One day, you wake up and it's like a nightmare. What do you do at this point? How do you get out of this? Who do you talk to? Who do you call? And I'm ruminating in my head, this really can't be happening. But when you are creating judgment, you're asking yourself questions. What are the alignments? So moving forward now, you're asking yourself, do the opportunities that present themselves align with my values? So someone called you and this is the opportunity. You're not questioning if you should be in a partnership anymore. You're questioning, are our goals aligned? You're not questioning if you're prepared for what's going to happen. You're asking, could I live with the outcome? You're not questioning if this is what you needed to do. You're asking, does this align with my focus? Because the outcome is what you're going to live with, whether you like it or not. If it goes south or if it goes forward. And that's how you approach life now, because your judgment is now principle based. It's system generated. You're not, because most entrepreneurs who went through a betrayal, most people who dealt with a betrayal, they're going through this whole, why did I do that? Why was I so stupid? I did it. I then realized I was judging from the wrong place. I'm not judging people anymore. I'm judging a system. These are the parameters. Do you fit here? Yes or no? If no, next. There's no question about it. Next. And then you're asking yourself, what are the controllables? What I can control. I am not trying to predict, I'm trying to prepare. Then you're asking yourself, what are the perfect set of things? No. What are the practical things that I needed to do for? And as you do that, your outcomes become better. I had to learn to trust me again. I went through that. I went through that activity. This is an activity. This is not a, oh, let's just forget about that and do this. No. Turn on the TV, turn on the radio, look on the internet. There are people out there creating all kinds of schisms, saying all kinds of claims, making all types of outlandish things. Ask yourself, what are the practical steps to do this? What are the step-by-step approach I need to move from here to there? One of my business mentors is a guy named Steve. He runs a construction company. And he does a lot of the outdoors thing. He builds gazebo, he builds deck, he builds awning. And one month, I was having a real difficult month with my sales numbers. And I was talking to him, and I told him, I said, last month, I didn't put more than $5,000 in marketing. And he said, why? He said, we agree that you're going to put $10,000 every month in marketing. That's an agreement. But $10,000 is a lot of money. We had a short month. We didn't pick up money. The insurance company didn't send money. And I started giving the excuses. And then he cut me mid-sentence. And he said, I do $500,000 a month in sales every month. $20,000 in marketing, 40 projects. $20,000 in marketing, 10 projects. $20,000 in marketing, 8 projects. The question doesn't ask if. The question is, are you doing what's consistent? If this is your acquisition channel, if this is your acquisition mechanism, if this is what gives you the leads, because it's only through taking a systemic approach, I have to bring myself to create that judgment that I will trust myself to follow a system. I had lost trust in me. And it was becoming evident to my mentor and my business advisor that I was losing the system that brought me to the stage where I could have said, my company went over $1 million year 1. My company went over $1 million year 2. My company went over $1 million year 3. I had started losing my own judgment. When you lose your own judgment, you're going to run from a place of panic. That's not going to help you to succeed. You want to be able to stop moving from this whole fear and actually build structures. This is not trust and hope or hope and pray. This is about structure and reality. A, B, and C give rise to X, Y, and Z. You put the money into marketing, you're going to get the leads. You take the leads, you're going to write the proposal. You do the proposal, you're going to get the contract. One cannot come without the other. It's systemic. That, my friend, will always help you to develop your judgment again. So if you lose trust in you, use the system. Rebuild you. Thank you.